Latics player at last catch up with Chairman Simon Corney. Welcome back to the country.
Thank you, Gordon.
Performances must be very heartening, especially the big win last night.
Yeah, last night was good fun. I enjoyed being there. I thought we were excellent, particularly in the first half. Second half we played well as well, but when you're 3-1 up, it's a lot harder to keep the momentum going. But what I saw was really encouraging, and obviously we're on a good run, and it's exciting for everybody.
Great performance, 4-1, super. What about the crowd though? Were you disappointed?
Was I disappointed? I've gone past the days where I say I'm disappointed. It is what it is. We have, as I've always said, a fantastic, loyal crowd that come week in, week out, whether it's cold, whether there's Champions League football on TV or not. And it's the rest of the people that we want to come. Unfortunately, we are now governed by certain rules and regulations within the Football League as to how much money we can spend. And the best way of getting a bigger budget is to have larger crowds. That means we don't have to sell players, which means we can pound into the manager when he wants to bring in somebody when we have a player that's injured. And it restricts us. So, look, I understand why people didn't come. It's expensive, it's cold with it, and all the other reasons. But it would be nice to have broken 4,500 fans on the back of a run where we've gone 11 games unbeaten.
So really, if we're putting a rallying call out, big game on Saturday, Bradford City. It's a Saturday game, local derby virtually. Hopefully the Latics fans will get behind it.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. It's for all those reasons you've just said, Gordon. It's a huge game. I'd like to see a crowd of around 7,000. When we get 7,000 here, the place looks full, it's rocking, and the players deserve it. Forget me, forget the club, forget finances, forget all that, put it to a side. The players, I think they've put in incredible performances the last 7 or 8 weeks. The manager's been outstanding. He's so passionate about the club. For them, I like for those people to see exactly what the crowd can bring to the table.
When the season started, Simon, were you expecting, or were you putting together, obviously you always think about promotion, but when you look on paper, did we have a middle of the table side? What I'm really getting at is since then, you've given the nod for the manager to bring in Ella Kobe, Polia, Jabbo. It's all through you because you have to say yes or no on that.
Right, I think the plan was always to get a team which we thought could compete. Anyone who understands football realised that Lee is a good manager, and we backed that as a board by giving him a long-term contract. We saw what a lot of people have seen, and people forget we went 10 games unbeaten at the end of last season. So really, I think we've probably lost 3 or 4 games in the last 25, 28 games. So we knew we've got a good manager. There's no surprise there. A lot of clubs are sitting up and taking notice of Lee as well, which is something we have to be careful about, and gives me sleepless nights. So we were very confident that he'd put a team together which could challenge at some level. Whether or not it was top 2 or playoffs or top half, which was really our target, who knows. The extra players are really our way of saying, look, Lee, we're backing you, we support you. I think he still wants to bring in 1 or 2 more. And we've been reasonably lucky with injuries. We haven't lost too many players. We know Lockwood, Ella Kobe, Wilson last night. But we've been okay. We've had the players to bring in to fill in those places. But I think we've always demonstrated when we have injuries or when we need to bring in players, we'll do it. So we work well together. If he wants something, we'll try and find it for him.
If you're bringing players in, though, surely that makes players' share all that more important because your hands are tied for financial fair play.
Yes. Player share is important. It's very helpful, very useful. I know the manager is a big fan of it. You know, the more the fans can do. I've always said it's not necessarily about the money. For me, it's about knowing other people are involved, sharing the pain, sharing the burden, and feeling like a team. And I know certainly Lee appreciates it, I appreciate it, the board appreciate it, but it's that togetherness which is very important.
You're a good person to ask this next question to. Sometimes you're in the club and you get the feeling that the atmosphere can be a bit down, and then you go off to America or back to Israel, come back 3 months later, and we're flying now. There's a different atmosphere all of a sudden.
I don't think I come back 3 months later. Maybe 3 weeks. There is obviously an atmosphere. You can't beat winning in football. Everything is on the up when you're winning. It could be worse. You could be. I look at clubs like Tranmere, for example, bottom of Division 2. Struggling there, making redundancies left, right, and centre. They're in a terrible position. Who would want to go there? And I think that we're very, very fortunate that we're in the position that we're in. It's not a coincidence that we have got this hardcore, as I've always said, of fans that support us through thick and thin. And when we are winning games and playing the way we're playing, the atmosphere is fantastic. It's phenomenal. And I do feel it. I walked in here yesterday and there was an immediate lift in the buzz, and I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it.
Part of that, what you've just been saying, the fans, we've got this new group of fans, the Atleticos, and they're singing their hearts out.
I actually think they've been worth a couple of points. I really do, and I'm surprised that more people haven't recognised this. They've been amazing. The manager loves them. It's all he ever talks about. He's getting on my nerves about it now. But they made a difference. I was at the Notts County game. They just didn't stop. For 90 minutes, they did not stop singing and cheering. And really, I think the difference has been this season, obviously we're playing well, but we've gone behind several times and we've come back against Peterborough, against Notts County, against Swindon. And these guys made a difference to us, and I don't think they should be underestimated. So really credit to them and kudos to them. They've been a big help. Away
from the football, early season, we saw this magnificent new structure go up during the summer, and August, September, it was all growing. All of a sudden, it's grown to a stop. What's the latest?
Nothing has really changed. I've said, and I like to think I've kept my word most of the time anyway. It's going to be finished in time for the start of next season. There's no doubt whatsoever. And one or two people are getting nervous, and one or two people are spreading rumours. There's nothing to be worried about. We did have a problem with a supplier which set us back 4 or 5 weeks, but we've overcome that now. And I would say by January it will be unrecognisable from what it is now, and people will soon get excited again, and we'll be ready to move in there soon.
What's it like being a football chairman? You come back and you seem to be getting problem after problem put to you. The latest, the floodlights. Apparently we need some more lighting at sportsdirect.com park.
We do need more lighting. But what's 40 grand? It's one of the things we have to deal with. We're not the only football club. And in a way, I appreciate the Football League are trying to maintain standards. It did look a little dark out there last night, I have to admit. The problem we have is that when the new stand is built, we have a new system of floodlighting going in, and it would be a shame to have to spend £40,000 or £50,000 now and then spend money again in another 8 or 9 months' time. So we're trying our hardest to get around it. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out.
Monday night is the FA Cup first round draw. Traditionally, the FA Cup's been important to us. Is it the same this year? Do we need a big third round game?
We don't need a big third round game. It's always nice to get that. I like playing the minnows early on. I like to be away at a non-league side, 7 or 8 levels below. That's always a good fun and a party carnival atmosphere. But I'm not really fussed who we get this year. I would still like to have a good run in the JPT. I think we played well there. We were superb against Barnsley. I wasn't there, but by all accounts, I've seen the highlights. For me, I would love to get to the finally in the JPT, but a cup run would be welcome too. But you have to be realistic. We have a good squad. I think for the first time ever, you can look at the bench and say every one of those players can come in and fit seamlessly into the team and do well. But you've also got to understand you can't keep winning every game. You can't win the JPT. You can't get to the 3rd or 4th round of the FA Cup with only a squad of 23, 24 players. So it's something we'll have to give. I'm not really fussy at this stage. I just want to keep going. I just want to enjoy it. The players are enjoying it. They believe in each other. And if we get around the FA Cup, it's a bonus.
You touched on it there. They say if you want to look at the strength of a team, look at the substitute bench. Well, we have last night Paulie and Winchester. Tidser, we've got Lockwood to come in, Ella Corby to come back. Very strong squad.
Yeah, Brian Wilson as well. Winchester came off the bench and he's been superb all season.
How do you keep them all happy?
It's hard. It's not really my job. It's a manager's job. It's not easy. And in reality, we probably want to bring in 1 or 2 more as well. So there are players that we're in discussions with at the moment. It is obviously there are financial implications in all of these matters. I'm not talking about necessarily the club finding the money, but in terms of financial fair play, it is hard to keep people happy. When you're winning, everybody wants to be part of it, and nobody wants to be sitting out or going on loan. Connor Brown's done nothing wrong at all. Connor Brown's a good player, and he's been very, very unlucky that Brian's come and done so well. David Miller, for me, he's got a future with the club, someone that I've always rated personally, and a lot of people around the club rate him. Also very unlucky. He's gone to Alfreton to get some fitness. He's done that. He's raring to go. He'd love to be back in the team. So, and we've got 1 or 2 kids coming through as well. Jordan Bove, he's come on. He's done nothing wrong. We've got Reece Turner that we spent £60,000 on. there's a lot out there. So it is difficult, and that's one of the areas of management that I don't envy anybody having to go through. It's tough.
You've already gone through your 10 years tenure now with us. You're still enjoying it, Simon? Are you in for the long run?
I've been in for the long run. Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's stressful, painful, hurtful, but I enjoy it. When you have weeks like this, it's all good. And then you have weeks, that we've had in the past where it is tough. But without the tough weeks, you don't enjoy the good weeks as much. We know that.
And we'll close this week with a rallying cry. Usually we do a rallying cry when we need points to stop up. On Saturday, we get points to go into the top 6. The fans are important.
I think if we win on Saturday, we will go into the top 6 by virtue of the teams playing each other. So, I want as many people to come. I always want people to come. That is the lifeline, the lifeblood of the club. It's people coming to the games, supporting the team. And if they only knew, I always say this, but if they only knew how much it meant to the players to have the team rallying behind them, I think we'd get 10,000 here every week. I really do.
Well, Bradford's going to bring 2,000 plus, so we really need 5 of our own here, don't we?
At the least.
Thanks for talking to us, Simon.
Thank you.